So the funny thing is having two podcasts and a topic that goes well on both. The hard part is going to actually be, where do I actually put this video? Nonetheless, you're going to see it. My name is Gavin. I'm a photographer. I've been a photographer for 15 years. I actually have two podcasts, the Paid and Exposure Photography podcast, which caters to Black and brown creatives. And I also had a Black Dads Club, which is a safe space for Black men to share their feelings. And honestly, we just talk about it, all things that men love: sports, relationships, everything. So I encourage you to check those two things out. However, I actually got DM'd on the Paid and Exposure podcast about how to take paternity leave as a new father. We know paternity leave is a problem as far as they don't give you enough time. Hell, the moms definitely don't get enough time. You know, the dads aren't. But one of the cool things is I was able to create my own paternity leave as a photographer. And I just wanted to share some tips, tricks for that today. I do want to say, to make this easier for yourself, I do recommend getting a pen and paper. Also, I like to say I broke everything down in three parts. I have the pre-baby phase. I have I call it the oh shit phase, but it's the baby is here phase. And also you have the what the hell am I doing in life, which is also post-baby phase. So I kind of break everything down in three parts. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get to it. I should put a video here as an intro, but whatever, man. The pre-baby phase, this is amazing, right? Because you just found out you're about to have a baby. You're super excited, but you don't know what to do. You just know you got to plan a baby shower. You got to find out the gender, and you got to find a hospital, right? Wrong. It's so much that goes into it. One of my favorite parts about this is you need to ask yourself one very important question. How long do I want to be off? That is going to determine everything for the next two steps and for the next few years of your life, right? Whatever that time frame looks like, you need to add 3 months to it. I definitely recommend taking 3 months off. Well, personally, I recommend you take 6 months off plus the 3. But at minimum, you need to be off for 3 months. I know it sounds crazy. If you can't afford, this sounds harsh. If you can't afford to take 3 months off, you might need to consider if you should be a full-time photographer. Just saying. Or entrepreneur. It's really tough. Especially as a man, you don't have to be there for two people. This is your responsibility. So keep that in mind. And you definitely want to be like you're a part. You still have to be a provider, but you have the comfort and you have to raise a kid. So I always say, pick out how much time you want to do. Add 3 months to it. And the next thing you need to start doing is saving. One, you might have to pick up odd jobs. This is a cool time to, once you announce that, hey, you're having a baby, you start promoting that, hey, I'm having a baby, I need money. People love to book when they know you're about to have a kid because they feel like their money is going somewhere. Plus, they know they're getting a great service in return. So this is a cool time to be like, hey, I'm putting money to the side. Me personally, I was out there Ubering because life was real, right? I had just become a full-time photographer officially. On paper, wink, wink. But it was super cool because then at that time I was able to say, let me get some extra money. Let me speed up this process because personally for me, I wanted to take off 6 months. But if you ask my wife, she'll say I was back working within like 75 days. But don't listen to that. All right. I'm telling you how long I was off. So once you do that, go to your spouse. Hey, what are we doing about childcare? What are we doing about daycare? Who's going to be watching our kid? What does that price look like? That is super important because if your spouse or the mother or father of your child they're not an entrepreneur, then that means they are going back to work. Or in some rare occasions, they get so focused on this little human that y'all bring in that they decide I'm no longer going to work. And then that's a whole nother discussion. So it's cool to get this communication out very early. Like, hey, are you how long is your maternity or paternity leave? Are you planning on, when are we going to get our kid in school? Also, you might want to start looking at daycares because a lot of daycares, especially the good ones, have wait lists. Also, I don't know when the last time you checked on how much daycares cost, but they're not cheap. So keep that in mind. And then you need to go ahead and start making business adjustments, whatever that is. What that may look like is, when is your last day of work? How are you going to outsource your business? So a lot of times I don't like to just, when people were emailing me, and I explain that in the next stage, I love to be able to say, hey, if you need anything, please reach out to my friend. And I put their name, email, phone number, website, stuff like that. Also, I let those photographers know that, hey, you're probably going to get an influx of people because I'm no longer taking work for this period of time. So I definitely want to make sure I send them your way, especially somebody that, take good care of them, that won't try to steal your business, but also they understand, like, you doing them a favor and they appreciate you for it. If you have a email list, you should have an email list. This is the perfect time to start updating that email list, letting people know that, hey, I'm having a kid. If you want to announce who you're going to be sending referrals to, this is a cool time to do that. But also, if you're looking at it and saying, hey, I'm just updating them on my specials, on my life, and what's to come next. So yeah, discuss all those things, run it through, because now the baby is here and now it's real. And now it's the oh shit phase. Like, what did I get myself into? I'm going to say all of that to just tell you, you're going to get bored. I know that sounds crazy. The baby is here. Time is moving fast. Everything is happening at once. You're ordering diapers, you're ordering wipes. They haven't told you that you have to change a diaper every 2 hours. So you're getting no sleep. But after a few weeks, after a month and a half, I like to say like 8 to 10 weeks, things become so repetitive that you just become a zombie to everything. And you're just like, all right, I can do this now. And congratulations. First of all, congratulations. Let's start back. Congratulations on the baby. And now it's time to get bored. So I'm bored. The baby is asleep. It's in the middle of the day, so I'm not really sleepy. I will be sleeping a little bit, but what can I do about my business? This is the beautiful time to make adjustments. How many times have we been wanting to up our prices, change our services, redo our websites? Every day, take a little bit of time to make a dip into it, not a chunk, because you're going to get frustrated. Plus, somebody's going to be crying. So what I was doing every morning, I would wake up, I check my emails. If I took my outer office out, I was working on some stuff. I was reviewing old content. I was going back through and editing old pictures. I was uploading pictures that I had saved, like in a bucket, like, hey, since I'm going to be off, let's do that. But I also was turning around and saying, you know what? Let me see if I want to update my services. So I was already doing maternity work, but at this time I thought I wanted to do newborns because I had one. Wrong. But I did up my prices. Why? Because I know that daycare is coming up. Diapers ain't cheap. Wipes is crazy. Baby clothes is a waste of time. But you start buying little things. And also, not to be weird or anything, but this might be a cool time to ask yourself, do you still want to be a full-time photographer? Because it's real. Prices are going up on everything. And it might be tough. And you might decide that, hey, I want to go back to corporate or go back to whatever. And this might be a great time to do that when you have benefits, you have insurance, you have a set schedule. And then you can also just do this on the side. And it's okay. So after you get through that little stage, the most important thing to figure out is, like, when am I going back to work? And please understand that when you go back to work, it will be slow, which is why we put that buffer of the extra 3 months in our savings, right? So you're going back to work. You're starting to inform people through your email list that, hey, I'm coming back on such and such date. Feel free to book. You're starting to schedule things. Also, it's important to look at your emails from earlier, because maybe it's a wedding that's out in 2 years or in a year. You're already going to be back at work. It's no need of, like, just say, hey, go check out my person I'm referring to, when it's going to be business that will be available for you once you get back to work. So once you do that, you start understanding things differently. You understand that services have changed, prices have changed. Maybe you've pivoted, but now it's time to get back to work. And so this is super easy. 3 things. First of all, embrace the change. You have a baby here. You're responsible for someone. And it's beautiful, but embrace everything. Embrace the new hours that you're working. Embrace that you might not be working on weekends. Embrace the fact that you're making more money now, that you're charging more. Embrace the fact that your photography actually means even more than I just get to be creative. Embrace those changes. Also, don't be afraid to pivot. New changes, new adventures, new jobs, new gigs. Embrace it and love it. And I always say, I said this earlier and I can't reiterate this enough. Please fall in love with your work schedule. Me personally, I'm in a stage now where I only work 9 to 3 and I work weekends. Does that mean I turn away nighttime business? No, but it just means that, hey, maybe that price is different from when my kid is in daycare. So embrace all those changes. Good luck. I hope this helps. Let me know in the comments if you got any tips. My last video was over 20 minutes. I hope this was quick and easy and straight to the point. And I'm going to holler at y'all next time.